What Happens in the Woods is a true crime podcast. We discuss events that are often violent in nature. Listeners' discretion is advised.
Welcome to WTF Wednesday, half an hour of true crime stories. It's the finest in fuckery. Now here is your host, Jess, with true crime stories that'll make you say, what the fuck?
Hello.
Hello.
Here we are again. Bryce's favorite theme song ever.
Yes. It's awesome.
It's a 10 out of 10.
I mean, whoever did it did a great job. I'm not going to lie.
Thank you, Barbershop John.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution to our small podcast. We appreciate your time and efforts.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, here we are. Just when you thought, we never would return for more What the Fucks, we're back. And with us again is Mara.
Hello.
So we've got some stories to share with you guys that'll make you say, what the fuck? Are we ready?
Yes.
See.
However many different languages can you add?
Yeah.
Stop.
That's about it.
All right. Let's get to the fuckery.
All right. So we're starting off with unsolved murders of two men in South America in the country of Brazil. This is from the 1960s. So, I'm a sucker for an old-timey murder. This isn't a murder, though. We don't know. We just don't know. So this is a story I had seen pop up a couple of times on different Reddit articles and, of all places, Pinterest. I love fucking Pinterest. It's amazing.
Sure.
So there's a lot of speculation on what the hell actually happened to these men. It's anyone's best educated guess at this point. There's probably never going to be a resolution or a firm, different. What's the word?
I don't know.
Affirmative, definitive. That's what I was trying to say. Fuck God, it's been a long day, people. So the bodies were found outside of a small town on a hillside. This was August 20th, 1966. The police are tipped off by a young man who was out over the course of a few days, had seen these two men. So the first day they were alive. The second time he saw them was on the 17th, when that seems to be when they went out to the hillside. So the first day they were in town, and then the second day they were on this random hillside. He doesn't know at the time, but they're not alive at that time. He just thought that they were napping.
What?
So he didn't disturb them.
Okay.
Right. So then he goes back on the 18th, and, this time he's like, okay. And then he goes back the next day, and it smells really bad.
Oh my God.
So he contacts the police. They still didn't go out until the next day. So these guys are out there for a few days, just kind of baking in the sun, I guess. And police go out. They find the bodies of, it's Miguel Jose Viana and, Manuel Pereira de Cruz. And I apologize now. I tried to listen to how to pronounce that, but I just am not good with pronunciation of other languages. I couldn't even master English earlier, so I apologize. But they did find these two men. They're completely puzzled as to what is going on, how these men died. There's no sign of a crime. The men are not injured in any obvious way. There's no cause of death that could be discerned from just looking at the scene. There's some weird stuff that's at the scene of the crime. There's no food, so they didn't mean to stay there. The men are dressed very nicely, nice casual, not hiking clothing. It's nice casual clothing, waterproof rain jackets. And with them is these eye masks that are obviously handmade, made out of lead.
What?
Right. So there's also, they find like a bottle of mineral water, some money, some receipts for the jackets that they were wearing and the water, because apparently, side note, if you took back your bottle and the receipt, you got your deposit for the bottle back. So they obviously meant to return to the town. And then they find this notebook. Inside this notebook, there are some weird, like, it's scientific, like research kind of notes. Serial part numbers for electronics. Police don't really know what it means, but they come across this one note in particular says, quote, be at the place arranged at 16:30. So that's military time. So 4:30 p.m. Take capsules at 18:30. After feeling effects, protect half of the face with lead masks. Await the agreed signal, end quote.
What?
Okay.
And that's it. That's all that they find at this scene. So investigators, like I said, found out the identities of the men eventually. They did autopsies, but there was no toxicology screening. I mean, it's the 60s, so I'm halfway surprised that they did an autopsy, considering these people were found like on the hillside of a small town. Not that the capability wasn't around. I'm just kind of surprised that it was done. But I think because they didn't have any other clues as to what had happened, they decided to do it and get it done. So they find out that both men died from cardiac failure, both of them.
What?
And what are the chances of that, right? So they found out that the lead glasses, like the face masks, were made in Miguel's workshop. They also, in his workshop, found notes about a bright light in the sky that would make them necessary to use those to shield their eyes. The handwriting of the notes didn't match either man, so it's not known who wrote these notes. And they found like multiple like scientific written notes in the workshop. So it's suspected that, of course, they were like following the directions from whoever wrote all of this stuff, but they don't know who it was. So the last time these two were seen alive was August 17. They were supposed to be getting supplies for their work. That was their cover story, apparently. And the authorities talked to a friend who suggests that they were members of this, quote, scientific spiritualist group.
What?
Yeah. And there was a history in the months leading up to their deaths that some of these experiments had gone wrong and had caused some explosions in these areas. So one was just a month prior on June 13th. It was on a beach near Atafana, where witnesses reported an explosion that, quote, rocked buildings as far as 15 kilometers away. And there were accounts from fishermen that day that say that they saw a UFO. So according to this friend, who was also apparently a part of this scientific spiritualist group, his name was Alcio Gomez. He says that they also had like this other experiment that they tried to build this machine to make contact to life on Mars in his garden, but it exploded.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're trying to make contact with UFOs.
Well, stop.
You're blowing shit up. Knock it off. So police start to piece together some like possible explanations, because nobody at that time is like, oh yeah, UFOs. Sure. Okay. Like the Brazilian government is actually actively at this point trying to dissuade people from believing in UFOs.
Yeah.
So they start looking at these possibilities. They were scientists, so they're saying maybe they were smuggling electronics into the country. And because apparently some of this like electronic equipment that they might have needed or wanted to get for research was pretty hard to get in Brazil at that time. Maybe they crossed somebody who, I don't know, who wanted them dead. And came up with this weird like way to
Poison
do
them
it, right?
and put them in a field,
Right.
with the rain jackets on.
With rain jackets on. Yeah. Another theory was that the two had some sort of suicide pact. But there again, like none of the directions were written in, like the handwriting could not be confirmed. So that doesn't really make sense either. And of course, the one that is most discussed is aliens. Because there's no toxicology report, they think it's possible that they maybe took LSD on that hill and were trying to like
hallucinate.
really fucking
aliens?
vibe with the aliens.
Maybe.
Yeah. But again, they don't know. It could have been cyanide, could have been LSD, could have been anything. I'm kind of leaning towards cyanide capsules, but who knows? I mean, they could have done some LSD and just tripped out on it and fucking died.
Or ayahuasca.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's also the only other account that I can find of this, and I had searched. The only other similar account of a death in, it was also a man in Brazil around that same time, was 1962. And he had lead glasses that were found near his body. They weren't on his body, but near his body. His death was unsolved as well. But to this day, there are no other instances of this type of like thing happening anywhere around the world at all.
I am confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy story because people just don't make lead glasses like a face mask.
No.
No, that's not just something that you go pick up at the store and you're like, this looks cool.
Right. I mean, you usually would not have that sort of resource
For just no reason.
Just for no reason. Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like the lead frames or just lead glasses with slits so they could see out of it. I don't know.
Apparently there was like slits so they could see out of it. So I kind of was thinking, well, they're welders, right? I mean,
What is that protecting you from, though?
the bright light of the UFO.
But how? If it's just like slits,
I don't know.
I'm confused.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's why it's still a mystery, Maya. Solve that and you can rule the world.
Probably.
Figure it out.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, that'll be an update. So, yeah, it's still a mystery. It just gets brought up every few years.
Maybe to find out, I need to go do LSD on a hillside.
I'm gonna say, better not. I mean, go to Brazil, go to a hillside, but can you leave the LSD out of it?
But how am I supposed to experience the
Meditate. I don't know.
meditate
With the aliens.
the spirits of the men that were found on the hillside? I just find it funny that the one guy was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna let them. They're just taking a nap."
Right? He's just like 3 days in a row.
it's
He's
just a
like,
long
yeah,
nap.
I don't know. That's weird.
Just a really long nap.
They're just laying there.
Two
Yeah.
dudes just
Yeah,
laying on a
just
hillside.
taking a nap, from out of town. Those weird touristers.
Those
Yeah.
out of towners,
Those weird out of
Damn
town.
it.
tourists.
Coming in from the high city thinking they're all better than us. They're fucking waterproof jackets
And lead glasses.
and lead glasses. Yeah, it's a something. That's what that is. All right, so while we're on the story of aliens, have you guys heard of the Mima mounds here in Washington?
Who?
Yes.
Mima mounds?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. What have you heard
Of
about
course you
them?
have.
Nothing.
That they're there.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean I just told you? Is that what you were going to say?
No.
Oh.
Go right by them.
When did you drive by them?
Right by when we go south to Portland.
We do?
No, not you. At my work.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
At work, we pass them. They're just south of Olympia.
Yeah, they're on the Sound. They're in the Puget Sound. It's a National Reserve area. Okay.
They just pointed out the mountains to me. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So there's these mounds. I mean, there's just acres of
Yeah.
these mounds.
There's a ton of them.
It's a prairie. It's like the only surviving prairie in Washington, apparently. There's a lot of like weird theories with these mounds, and they're not small. Some of them are like 70 feet wide in diameter. They're not small, but there's thousands of them in this just grassy, open fielded prairie area. So the mounds can be traced back to 7,000 years ago, like prehistoric-ish is what they're saying. I don't know that 7,000 years, how accurate that is, though. Because one scientist said that they were formed because of an earthquake. So I'm not sure like how they then can gauge like this. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, though.
I just play one on TV.
So back in the day, they do know that native tribes, so, First Nations people use that area to plant like food plants and used it as basically farming area. But that's really all they know. They've tried to say that maybe this is like an Indian burial area, and the natives have said no, like we did not use them for that. So none of the tribes have any history of using that as a burial area. So another theory that I read was Paul Bunyan and his dogs created the mounds when they were digging out the Puget Sound. I was like, y'all do know that Paul Bunyan was not a real fucking person.
What?
Yes, he was.
Uh-huh.
He was real.
With Babe the Blue Ox.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right.
I've seen
the cartoon.
Statues.
I've seen the statues all up and down the North Coast.
Yes.
Yeah. Paul Bunyan was not, he's not an actual person. As far as I know.
Okay.
Right?
You're ruining my childhood.
I'm just saying, like, he might have been based off of a character, but I don't believe there was actually a Paul Bunyan. Am I correct in that? Or am I speaking out of my ass?
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
No.
No!
You're speaking down your ass. Paul Bunyan's real. I've seen the statues.
I hate you. Okay, if Paul Bunyan is real, then I'm not remembering history correct, I suppose. That's fine. But I'm pretty sure that his dogs didn't dig the Puget Sound up and the mounds were formed because of it.
Well, I didn't even know he had dogs, so.
No, I thought he had the ox.
That's it, yeah.
They were saying something about Labradors.
How big were the Labradors?
Well, I fucking don't know.
Okay.
So the next theory is that a scientist did an experiment on the soil, found it possible that an earthquake formed these. Then another scientist came in, and mind you, this experiment used a piece of plywood, and they dug up some of the soil, and they shook the soil on the plywood, and saw that it would form itself into mounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very highly intense scientific procedure there. And I'm not saying that the simple things can give good answers. I'm not saying that it wasn't an experiment. It was. I'm just saying, was this a scientist in the 4th grade? Because I feel like I don't know that that's an actual experiment.
You just like ruined an entire career.
I'm here to ruin lives today. Paul Bunyan's not real.
Oh my God.
This scientist is from 4th grade.
No.
And plywood and soil do not resemble an earthquake. Just saying. To me, this is what I take away from this story. You may form different opinions, and you are welcome to them. That could have been the best experiment ever. I don't know. I don't know shit. So another scientist claims that the soil retains moisture differently because of the earthquake. And so when the prairie dries out, that's how the mounds stay formed.
Sure.
Because of soil differences. I'm just going to say that sounds like a more plausible experiment and hypothesis.
None of these are making any sense to me.
Me neither.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just some things I just don't understand, and that's okay.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Scientists also have a theory that there were gophers, thousands of gophers that once lived in that area.
That makes more sense to me.
There's evidence in the mounds, there's a series of tunnels underneath them. So this is kind of a culmination of the soil and the earthquake theories along with giant rodents. And at this point, I pictured the Princess Bride with the rodents of unusual size.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my favorite theory is that there are aliens who were trying to send us signals like the crop dusting shit. And this is what's left over because they got tired of it and went home.
That's the best one.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really down for Paul Bunyan because I do remember the cartoon in the song.
I'd never seen the cartoon. But
You never seen the cartoon of Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox? And
I may have and was just like, this is stupid.
you probably were. You're so negative about everything. Even as a child.
No, I wasn't.
I know you poo-pooed on it.
I probably did.
You did. So, yeah. Those are the Mima mounds. And the only reason I know of these is because there's, when we were doing keto, there's somebody that came into my work and she works for a company that makes hard candy that's made with xylitol.
Yeah.
And it's a local company out of Spokane. And so she brings us like samples every time she comes in for her appointments.
Yeah.
And one of them is named Mima Mounds. And they're like caramel macchiato flavored. And they're my favorite. And I'm like, what's a Mima Mound? Because the way she said it, it was all one word. And I was like, what's Mima Mound? What is it? And then she was trying to explain it to me. So I had to Google it. And that's when, of course, I came across, Paul Bunyan and aliens and the scientists from 4th grade.
Well, I just want to say, everybody, the aliens got tired of us. So
The aliens were not
stop
fucking
looking
with us.
because
Right.
you heard it here. They got tired and they went home.
They got tired and they went home.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So, all right, moving along with the fuckery. This is disturbing, you guys, and I'm sorry, but I literally, what the fuck? So, and this involves sexual contact between a man and a beaver.
Oh.
I'm going to warn you guys right now, if any of this is triggering, please just fast forward. It's short. So give it like 2 minutes. So this is from local Kennewick, Washington. This happened in 2018. There was a transient gentleman who was high on crystal meth, because I think that's really the only way that you would mistake a beaver for any type of thing that would be okay to have sex with. So this gentleman by the name of Richard Delp was caught getting very naughty with a dead beaver. It was deceased.
And it was dead.
So
he's a necrophiliac animal fucker.
Yes. That is a loaded sentence right there.
Oh, no.
So the beaver was found by an unknown woman in Columbia Park over Labor Day weekend in 2018. She came across this animal after it had been hit by a car and just left. So she's thinking, I'm going to go get some supplies, a box and whatever. I'm going to come back and get this beaver, take it to the vet and try to help it. She comes back and she finds Richard consorting with the beaver.
Consorting, okay.
What?
I was trying to find the best words. Okay. Consorting. By that time it had passed away. So when she left it, it was breathing.
Yeah.
By that time it had passed away. She of course calls 911 immediately. The man was arrested. They couldn't tell if it was like the car hitting it or the activity with the meth head that actually like caused it to pass away. But it did pass. So they charge him with a felony animal cruelty and possession of meth. And he admits to having, quote, committed a sex act with the animal. Here's the thing that kind of pisses me off, but also is just, this is what's sad and what you're like, what the fuck? The charges were dropped without prejudice, meaning that he can't be tried again. Even on the meth is what I don't understand. But they drop it because he was found to not be mentally competent to have a trial. So he gets off essentially from all of it. And then he was transferred in 2019 to Eastern State Hospital for care. But I don't understand how he got off on the meth charge.
Yeah, he was in possession. I don't know.
They arrested him at the time for possession of meth. Not only was he high off of it, he was in possession of it.
I guess.
If
but he wasn't competent enough to use it. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if you're ruled incompetent, like you don't understand the consequences of your actions, I guess is technically what we're saying here.
But what if they
But-
just did a
Right.
blood test? They could see if he was high on meth.
No, he definitely was high off of
He
the
done
meth.
did the meth.
He done did the meth.
I don't know. It's that whole. I don't know.
It just sounds like it's a trickery of the words. Like the
Yeah.
loophole, you know? Like,
Yeah.
oh, he's mentally incompetent.
Is
It doesn't
he mentally
matter.
incompetent because he did tons and tons of
Yeah.
fucking meth? That's
Well, and that's kind of the thing is they were saying that they didn't foresee the like doctors that evaluated him did not foresee a time when he would become competent. So it was not like a short-term mental
Yeah.
disability. He was like permanently not going to be competent to stand trial.
drugs are bad, okay?
Right. That's what I'm saying. But how did he not get in trouble for the drugs?
Mentally incompetent.
I don't know.
After the years of drugs.
It's just, I mean, I hope that he has since gotten the help that he needed. Of course. He did what he did.
He has.
I can't
He's in
change it.
Eastern State now.
Yeah. Eastern State
getting
Hospital. He's getting some kind of help, but I've heard some shit about that place. But you know, that's a whole different story. I'm concerned for his well-being, but I don't know that I agree that he should have gotten off without something, but I don't know what that would be.
Well, they'll probably get him help first, and then he'll have to deal with it.
He can't be retried, though,
He can't,
right?
yeah, it was dismissed without prejudice. So it's never going to come up again. He would have to do something else. I hope to God it's not with another beaver, but
Rest in peace to the homie.
right? It's just like, that's horrific. That's horrible. And this is where drugs are bad, because what the fuck was going on in his mind? What did that beaver represent to him at that time?
You're asking the wrong
I
questions
have so many
here.
questions.
I don't think you need the answers to these ones, though.
I
You
guess.
get one that makes sense to you?
There again, yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
You're right. I said it. I said it.
Now I know the world's gone crazy.
It's been a very long day, and you poured me a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
deserved
then
it.
I drank that entire bottle.
Well,
I gave
Oh.
I gave a glass away, and I drank the rest.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was.
you should never open a bottle of wine around me. All right, our last story of fuckery, very short. I found a news report that claimed that a Mercedes that was seen in Medina, Washington, actually was found out to have belonged to none other than Hitler. Why it was here, how it got here, I have no idea. There was a story from a local news outlet called The Patch that in 2018 claimed that this custom Mercedes-Benz 770 was from the 1940s. It was like briefly parked in front of a house in a small town before moving on to its new home, which was in a foreign country. The owner's identity and the price that they paid was not released, but it was known that it was auctioned last in Arizona prior to making a short stop in Washington for whatever reason. And this apparent car could be confirmed to be one of Hitler's.
Oh, so it wasn't like his main car. It was just probably in his garage.
It was custom made for him, and this was the report said that this was like the type of car that the Nazis like used in their parades. Most of like the high ranking officers like Himmler.
Yeah.
These are the cars that they would use. This particular one was Hitler's, though. It was custom made for him.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was auctioned off in Arizona, but somehow it was up here, and then it went on to a foreign country, and all of this is protected, like private,
Yeah.
by the auction house. So somebody privately bought Hitler's fucking Mercedes-Benz.
Okay. I mean, some people have their things.
I mean,
I would like to hope that is a Jewish person, like a person of Jewish descent, who maybe like their family was torn apart by the concentration camps, and they took this car out somewhere and set it on fire. That's
Yeah.
what I hope.
Yeah.
That's what I picture in my brain. It's probably nothing like that, though. I'm just saying that's what I would do to it.
Yeah.
I would gladly pay like millions of dollars if I had it to do that.
Well, who knows? Who knows where it went? Because it went to a foreign country.
Yeah, it went overseas.
We'll never know.
Someplace. Which, I mean, could be Canada. It said foreign country. It could not even be
Could have been Mexico.
that foreign. Yeah, it could have been Mexico. Could have been
parked on a hillside in Brazil.
Well, weren't there a lot of like Nazis that
Fled there.
fled to South America?
Yeah.
Like in Brazil, correct?
Supposedly.
Yeah. Maybe that's the full circle. Maybe the fucking lead people, the lead mask people, were connected to the Nazis.
Maybe.
What?
I don't know.
They were Argentinian, or they were Brazilian, though.
Oh, maybe it was Argentina that I should know this. I should know this. Maybe it was Argentina that the Nazi people. I think you're right now. I don't know that it was Brazil necessarily. Never mind. Strike that.
Yes, kidding.
Strike that. We didn't say that. Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of a short little. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Why is somebody buying Hitler's car?
What the fuck?
That's cute.
That was so full of disdain.
This is what happens when your dad does shit and he doesn't ask me first.
He asked me.
I can't get on board.
He asked me after he did it, and I was completely on board.
I know you were. Of course you were. It's barbershop quartet-ish thing. I'm not saying it's not well done.
It's the best because it's well done and because it's so ridiculous.
And because it pisses me off, right?
No.
Because it irritates me.
It's just so well done.
It's so well done, but it's just like hilarious.
It is.
It makes it even better.
They did a really good job.
And I came up with the words.
You're a songwriter.
Lyrics by.
Lyrics by.
It was all him. It was all Barbershop John.
I mean, you did a good job.
Thanks.
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh.
No, honey, it was good. You have good thoughts. I have to give you shit. I have to. That's just the way this relationship works.
Okay.
And y'all wonder why he doesn't speak on the podcast.
Yeah.
He could talk.
I'm just kidding. Don't hurt me.
Nobody is under threat here. I just want everybody to know that we're all safe. Nobody is
twice.
Okay.
She's not making me say this.
I'm not.
I'm fine. She's not making me say that.
God.
I'm just kidding. I'm like just pushing her buttons today. It's great.
Everybody is pushing my buttons today. The universe is pushing my buttons today.
We'll try again tomorrow.
There is always tomorrow because I guarantee you it's going to fucking happen. All right, guys, that's the end of this What the Fuck. We hope you've enjoyed and we've given you a little bit of a laugh today. As always, take care. We'll see you next week.